Hey, people. Hey. So, kind of as I promised. Kind of as I promised, I'm doing a TikTok live. To some of you, this may be a pop-up. Like you were like, whoa, what are you doing on TikTok live, lady? And I'm like, here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. And the other thing is that if you're on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, hey, Colleen, if you were on that, you might have known that I was going to be live because I told folks on my mailing list I was going to be doing a TikTok live today, and voila, here I am. And I'm going to yell down the hallway to my husband for a sec. So, hey, hon? Yeah. When you get a sec, could you bring me my water bottle, please? Yeah. Thank you. And if you're making any tea, I would love to have some. Thank you. All right. So, yes, okay, Ms. Crentis, Irish Pink. I love this. Nice to see everybody. So, yes, good morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The sun is out. I could just I feel like my dad, I could write a song about every single one of these things. Oh, there he is in the background. So I'm here to help you. So check it out. All right, this is why I'm showing up doing these TikTok lives, is because if you're struggling with clutter, if clutter is just cluttering up your life, your head, your heart, your life, your home, your rooms. Good morning, good morning, good morning. There's Mr. Lennon. Yep, Mr. Lennon. It was funny when we were getting married. When we got married, during the process, we were kind of saying, that would be pretty cool if you took my last name, because he's a musician, and we both love the Beatles. So there's that. But I decided to do this pop-up TikTok live, specifically because we are within days of, oh, there you go.
You go.
Thank you. We are within days of Thanksgiving. And I know that this kind of, if Halloween didn't kind of kick off the holiday season for you, Thanksgiving into Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all the New Year's, all the December holidays, this is a time of year that I know, I just saw I know feels different from every other time of the year. Okay. Erin just says, I'm going to stop decluttering my house and just start painting it vibrant colors. Now, Erin, I've seen pictures of your house. Your house is awesome like it is. But here's the deal. The vibrant colors and it's decluttered. Now, dusting, on the other hand, not so much right now, but that's okay. I'm here for you because I know that this time of year is different for clutter. This week, if it hasn't happened already, for most of us in the U.S., there's Thanksgiving going on. That means there's probably going to be a big meal for many people. This is also one of those times of year where most people say, oh, well, I can't get rid of insert, serving platter, dishes, whatever, all the kind of a dinnerware type thing. I can't, remove that from my life because I use it during the holidays. Okay. Yeah. And, just think about that. This is this week. This is when you might be pulling out the fancy stuff, the oversized platters, the stuff where you're serving food, unlike just, picking on stuff when you're hanging out and having girl dinner. So things are different this week. So I'm here to help you with that. I love it. Irish Pink's showing up a little bit every day. I love it. I actually decluttered some of my post-moving bins today. Every freaking little bit helps. Every little bit helps. So do not discourage you from starting yourself. Just doing little things. Even when I'm doing this TikTok live. Now, I did a pop-up yesterday, and I forgot to notice what time I started. Today I started at 10:30 Eastern, so I will be here for an hour. I will sign off at 11:30 Eastern and then go live my life. So how about this? You've got some stuff to do around your house, and even start with just the surface clutter. The stuff that's going to be easy for you to do. Starting with that, with me kind of chattering, keeping you company in the background, that can be a really fun way to just kind of, I'm learning something, this is kind of interesting, but I'm also cleaning up my own life. Participate in your own success. Create your own success. Participate in doing it, because I can't do it for you, but what I can do and what I strive to do is help you understand what's happening here that affects right here. Because if the green light and the red, if these two places aren't green light, you're not going anywhere. So I'm here to help you. I will say this. If you have a notebook, a piece of paper, stuff like that, write down some stuff that you need to do. Okay, I love it. 1138. Exactly why you're so relatable and helpful. Thank you. You know what? I have no patience for I will back up. I don't even mean to judge anybody. That sounds like I have no patience for. No. Folks who speak in a formal, slightly, you know what I mean, like a formal, serious way, they have their place in the world completely. They've got millions of followers. That does not resonate with me. I like to hear things explained simply. I like to hear things explained in stories or in a way that relates to something I already know. Like, oh, it's like this, but that. That helps it sink into me instead of thinking, oh, I don't really know what that means. Is it a thought or a belief? Is it a belief or a thought? And I just say it's words in your head. Okay? I love it. Saucy Mary says, I did it. All of Mom's stuff is sorted and put away out of my dining room. Congratulations, Saucy Mary. I remember it wasn't too long ago, earlier this week, maybe even yesterday, where you were struggling with that. I would love for you, and this is what I would do if you and okay, I love this. I was just about to ask you, and I love that you already said what worked for you. Because what works for you is something that you're going to be able to kind of tuck that story in your pocket and remember the next time you want to do something. It's like, well, remember what worked last time? Let's try it again. So Saucy Mary, and then the reason too, everybody who's signing in, tuning in right now, I realized I didn't introduce myself to the new folks. Hey, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. I'm not only a decluttering life coach, but I'm a decluttering life coach. And my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. It's called Destination Decluttered because I love to travel. And to me, when you have a destination in mind, you know where you're heading. If you don't have a destination, you're just kind of bopping around. Okay, so the reason I am repeating what people have written in the comments here on this TikTok Live is because I also upload these to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Erin, you have requested, I was going to do it anyway, but just to let you and everybody know, yesterday's is up there on TikTok. Okay, so Saucy Mary is saying this is what worked for them. The trick wasn't a trick. It was an idea that worked out. Committing to a day. Awesome. And having some pals come to help. Getting help and also getting specific where you actually scheduled a day and time to do it. Okay? That is such a game changer. Think of those two things the next time you need to do something. Get yourself specific. This is why I teach a process called breeze blocking. It's my version of time blocking because man, oh Manischewitz, does it help you just get more practical about things. Like, there's something I want to do. Where can I write it down so that it increases the likelihood I did it? A list of things to do is a wonderful start, but when you put it on a calendar, and not only do you say, I'm going to do it on Monday, but I'm going to do it Monday from like 2 to 4, then that's when you can invite people over. Can you imagine? Because Saucy Mary said, like you invited friends over to do it. It's like, hey, can you come help me with my clutter? Okay, cool. When do you want me to show up? I don't know. Sometime this week. You wouldn't do that to your friends. Don't do it to yourself. The specificity will encourage you to get stuff done. Crystal Soul is saying, oh, I'm happy you're on. I'm decluttering today. I'm glad you're doing that. Okay. Now, Fairy Mob Mother is saying it's all the sentimental stuff. Okay. Fairy Mob Mother, I know that, and everybody, trust me, I know that for a fact that the sentimental stuff is the stuff that is the thing that causes you to expend most of your energy, emotional, physical, all the feels, and you're going to be tired. You're going to do it, and that's why it can feel like it's the worst. It can be challenging. But before you get there, why don't you practice working out? Why don't you do some stretches and lift up some lighter weights of decluttering? And look at the other two of the 3 categories of clutter that I talk about. Surface clutter, sentimental clutter, surface clutter, stored clutter, and then the sentimental clutter. Okay? I give you a process to follow because when you have a process, when you have a roadmap, notice road trips, destination, roadmap, when you have certain things that if you do it in order, it increases the likelihood of it being easier for you to do. So do that today, right now. Just say to yourself, hey, let me look at the surface. Maybe your surface clutter is all good. Then, if that's good, yay, it looks good. But if it still doesn't feel good, open up a door, open up a drawer, a closet, a bureau, like in your kitchen, and say, is that cluttered in there? Do I have too many things? What does it feel like when I open that drawer? Is it like, cool, I know exactly where everything is. It feels good. Or you're like, oh my God, junk drawer, junk drawer, junk drawer, junk drawer. Okay, start with surface and stored to get practice on asking yourself the following questions. What is this item? Do I want it or not? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, where does it go? When you get practice asking those questions to yourself and answering it in a way that feels right to you, then you are going to be so much better prepared to do that same process with the things that tell you stories, which is the sentimental stuff. Okay? All right, here we go. Oops, let's see what we have here. Erin says, hey, yeah, I love this. Erin says, I committed to 1 hour yesterday. Love it. But went 50 minutes past that. Not a full day, but did what worked. How about this? And I love this. And had your videos up there the entire time. Hey, there you go. Use the tools you have in your toolkit. If the videos is watching videos of me on in the background helps you, or not watching, just hearing them, because you don't need to watch me. It's just me moving my hands. If that works for you, if that gets you going, oh my gosh, I will tell you that most everybody, when they come onto one of these TikTok lives, will say something under the umbrella of, I'm overwhelmed and I don't know where to start, or I don't know how to start, or I can't get started, as Bunny Berrigan would say, right, Dad? So find the ways that get you started. Maybe it's taking a shower. Maybe it's putting on your shoes. Some people say it's as easy as putting on their shoes. They feel a little bit more like I'm going to get stuff done. Maybe they put on real clothes. Maybe you put on a bra. I don't know, something that makes you feel more like you can get up and get some stuff done. Find out what works for you and put it in your toolkit, so the next time you're there, you can pull out that toolkit and use it. Okay? The other thing too, Erin, I want to point out to you and everybody here is just notice how things change. Notice how saying to yourself, I'm going to commit to just an hour. And if I do that hour, I'm going to feel like a rock star. But once you get started, sometimes it doesn't feel as bad as you thought it was going to be. That before you started, you're like, I don't know, maybe I'll just do an hour. And then you get into the groove, as Madonna would say, and you did 50 minutes more. That is awesome. I would love for you to say that I would actually, if I was editing your sentence that you wrote down, I would put a line through that, not a full day. Good. I am glad it wasn't a full day, because who the F wants to spend an entire Saturday decluttering? I'm a decluttering coach, and I would tell you, put down your pencils and go out and live, because it's all a balance. It's not doing it for a solid day. Now, again, if you showed up and you were in the groove and you were like, oh my gosh, I want to do this just until it doesn't feel good, because it feels good until it doesn't, and then when it doesn't, stopping, that's cool, because I know, especially with ADHD, and just, natural motivation, you're thinking, oh, when it's easy, I feel like I could do this forever, but your energy will wane. So sometimes you do want to capture those moments when you feel all the things are aligned and you're in the zone. But also do not push yourself when it starts to be tiring. Pull over and take a break. If you were driving for hours, you wouldn't be like, oh my God, I haven't gotten there yet. Okay? So just notice what works for you. There we go. Specificity. Treat yourself the way you would treat your friends. Yes, exactly. If somebody came to help you, you would say, could you please show up on Saturday at 2 p.m.? That would be great. I'll open the door for you. We'll get ready. When you make a date with somebody, when you promise somebody something, you will show up for them to open the door so they're there. You would feel bad if they were at your door and you weren't there because you told them that. Keep promises to yourself. Keep promises to yourself like you keep promises to other people. If you promise yourself you want to do some things that are going to make your life feel better and look better and function better, keep your promises to yourself. Get in the habit of that. Start practicing keeping those habits. Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Sorry. It just feels like I might have to go give him CPR or something. Keep your promises to yourself. And if you're not in the habit of that, get in the habit. And one of the ways you can increase the likelihood of doing that is by writing down the stuff and being specific about it. Okay? I love it. Colleen just says, I was booking 1.5 hours of help from my husband just before you said this. So excited to declutter. I love it. When you're on the same wavelength with the other person, you can do so much more with two separate people as long as you kind of delegate the work. You're not trying to both do the same thing. You could even work in separate rooms, but if you're working at the same time, you get to where you want to quicker, which is usually a decluttered house. All right? So there we go. What's the best way to declutter a clothing closet? Asks somebody. It just, okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to back up a little bit because all the things. There we go. Okay. Chrissy was saying, what's the best way to declutter a clothing closet? I will offer, you guys, I like to make it so simple. The way you declutter one place is the way you declutter every place. There's not really a specific, I like to keep it so freaking simple. If a system works in one area of your home, you can copy and paste it to other ones. So much like I said, the golden kind of, the two-step, whatever you want to call it, the cha-cha, the whatever, the 4 steps, it would technically be, I guess, a waltz or a box step, is what is this item? Do I want it? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, where does it go? You can repeat that every single place in your life, in your home. And if in your closet, you pull out a piece of clothes. You say, what is this? Do I want it? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, where does it go? If I want it, I'm going to keep it hanging up. If I don't want it, I'm going to put it in a bag to donate it. Notice that. It can be as simple as that. Seriously, guys, maybe this will cost me money in the long run because it will be like, oh, I don't have this exclusive fancy way to explain things and it's so mysterious and nobody's going to pay me the money. No, I don't care about that. I just want to actually empower you to say it can be as simple as what I just said. Now, there are a couple of other strategies that I want to add to that to make it even more efficient so you're not thinking of this in every single time, So what I would offer is categorize your clothing at the very beginning. What do I mean by categories? Put them in piles. Not piles. I will say this. Categorize them while they're still hanging up because I want you to reduce the amount of sorting it out. Like you have to sort it out for a certain amount, but even when your clothing is hanging up. Let's say your closet has a bunch of stuff and you've got clothing that's hanging up. How about then putting all your sweaters together, then all of your blouses together, then all of your pants together, then all your dresses together. Just rearrange them like that, organize them so that then you can see what you have. And then what you can do is one category at a time, not pulling everything out of the closet. That's not a good way to do it. It's just going to exhaust you and you're going to get to that part where it looks temporarily worse before it looks permanently better a hell of a lot sooner. And then you're going to get frustrated and exhausted and you may walk away and saying, oh, this isn't working. It's just because you didn't do things in a better order. So organize your clothes on the rod and then take out one category. And then that's when you spread things out to look at it. This is stored clutter. So under the heading of stored clutter is going to look temporarily worse before it looks permanently better. And when it looks temporarily worse, it's because you have spread it out so you can see what you have so you can pick your favorites out. Pull out the favorites, put those back in the closet, and then see what's left. And then have a conversation with those other things and say, do I really need all of you or could I donate them somewhere? Okay? Notice that. All right? Cindy, you may have said this earlier and I may have repeated myself, but I want to say, I have so many songs I could reference about history repeating. What was that? Shirley Bassey and also Jack White, I think. But repetition is really good. Repetition allows you to hear something and be like, oh, that's interesting. And then sometimes if it clicks with you, it takes a few times to repeat it. So the questions are as simple. What is this? Like you grab an item. You just grab an item and you say, do I want this or not? Answer. Hear it. This is where the work is do I want it or not? And then the additional work is so much easier than this part, which is if I want it, where does it go? Where does it go? Where is a home that for this thing in a place that makes sense to me, the way my house is lined up, the way I live in my house, the way my brain works? If I want it, where does it go? So I can easily find it, I can easily use it, and I can easily put it away. Notice I said it's all about ease. And then if I don't want it, what's the easiest way for me to get it out of my life and back into circulation where somebody else can pick it up? Okay? There we go. My sister just painted her bedroom that same green you have on your wall. Lisa, that's very funny because my sister painted her living room a very similar green herself. And thank you for thinking my colors are amazing. I love it because it makes me smile when I see the sunshine coming into my house and it's all bright. I joke, but it's not even jokey. I often say that I was inspired to decorate my homes all my life by the Monkees Beach House and Pee-wee's Playhouse. So we got that. Oh, hey, that's so funny. Angie is saying the 3 Dog Night on the radio gets me started to declutter. I just heard Shambhala on TikTok earlier. My husband's in a band that they cover that. He's in a bunch of bands, not just cover bands. But I heard that this morning too, and I can see why that would get you motivated. Notice if, Angie and everybody, if music motivates you to get your body moving, turn on some music and do it. Anything that helps you do the things you have to do and want to do, put it in your toolkit and then pull out the toolkit when you need to get going. Okay? All right. Julissa is saying, hello, my mom passed. What exactly should I keep? It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Okay, everybody. And Julissa, first of all, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry your mom passed, and that is a lot to deal with. So before we even start about what should I keep, it's a lot of stuff, all that, allow yourself time to heal. There is no external, unless you have an external timeline, due date where you need to be like, well, we need to clean out the house by X or whatever. I want you to remember, everybody, we are not robots. We are not machines. Well, we are machines, but we are not robots. We have hearts, we have feelings, we have energy, and then we don't have energy. We have good days, we have bad days, we have all the days in between. Feel how it feels right now and ask yourself if you're ready to do some of the decluttering of the sentimental stuff. If it feels like you can start, I again would offer to you, start with the easy stuff, the surface, and then the stored, and then the wicked sentimental stuff. Everything from your mom's place is going to have a bit of a sheen of a sentimentality because it was owned by your mother. But there's probably a lot different sentimental feeling between like the dish towels she bought at the Christmas tree shop and like the family photo album from the 1940s. Okay, but before you even do that, Julissa and everybody, before you even start on this whole kind of journey, this road trip of decluttering, before you even start driving towards that and doing the things that get you, define your definition. Define your destination. Define your destination decluttered. This is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered, because it becomes like a North Star for me. Even when I lose my way, talking about all the different ways you can declutter and stuff like that, I always have to remind myself, before you even start, what are you aiming for? What is this destination you're excited to get to? And for Julissa and everybody who is dealing with somebody else's clutter that you have to sort through, and what should I keep, what should I not keep? I want to offer to you the following thought. What do you want your home to look like? What do you want your home to feel like? And how do you want your home to function? Your home. Your mom is no longer here. She will always live in your heart. You will be reminded of her by some things if you choose to keep some of her items. However, you will never forget her. She lives on all here. All of her stuff, even if you bring her things, some of her items into your home. And this goes for everybody. We're all going to deal with sentimental items that we have to make decisions on. Remind yourself that the feeling and the person live on in your heart, and the things are merely reminders, souvenirs that prompt your eyes and your brain to tell a story to you. So first of all, I would say, if things tell you a not so great story, get them out of your life. Everybody, life is too short to walk around your house having your stuff tell you crappy stories. So immediately notice the stuff that makes you go, ugh. Get that out of there, okay? But with your mom's stuff, take it a bit at a time. The sentimental part of the road is the most tiring, because it causes you as a physical person to expend a lot of emotional energy to make these decisions. So you'll probably move at a slower pace and you get fewer things done when you're going through that part, okay? But you ultimately, I would say this, know what you want your home to look and feel and function like. And if some of your mom's stuff brings delight to you, keep those things. If they don't bring them into your house. Or bring them in, but put them, if you're iffy on some stuff, put them in some boxes and put it away. But then set a timer, put something on your calendar for 6 months from now to revisit that stuff when you've maybe healed. Okay? I hope that helps. Oh, there we go. Asian Classified says, I've been into decluttering since TLC Clean Sweep. I think I've heard of that. I have not watched a lot of TV. Okay, there we go. Fairy Mob Mother. It's hard to let family heirlooms go, but I'm moving. Okay, think about it too. Think about how you are not necessarily letting go of things, but maybe you're making space. You're moving. You want your home that you're moving into to look and feel and function like you want it to. Also, getting things out of your life doesn't mean they go immediately into a dumpster, into a landfill. Such a weird thing that our brains kind of leap from, if I don't want it, it's going in a landfill, it's going in a dumpster. There are so many other kind of milestones along the way that your things could end up with somebody who loves them, somebody who's been looking for those dishes, who wants a clock like that, who would love to have some extra towels. All of these things, there's somebody out there who could benefit from your abundance. Okay? There we go. I did it till I was tired and went out and bought Christmas lights. Awesome. Very cool. Okay. Again, Jess is having the hardest time getting rid of baby items. Notice, it's not the mom who's passed away. Baby items, 7 and 3 now, but I feel so attached. Of course you do, Jess, because you're a loving mom and you remember. You have a feeling in your heart and you remember when those little kids fit into those clothes and played with those toys. And those kids are no longer there because they have evolved into these crazy grown-up adults. I will share with you guys a story that later this week I'm going to get together with my family for the holiday. And I have nieces and nephew, as I often refer to. And both of my nieces turned 21 this year. And I have pictures of them. We're going to take them out for a drink because I just feel like I want to do that like as an auntie. I know exactly where we're going to go. And the last time we went out like that, I have pictures of them. It was literally, they were like 5 years old. And oh my gosh, like it makes me want to almost cry, just feelings to be like, oh my God, they aren't like that anymore. They were so little and cute and now they are still big and cute and I love them. I love all iterations of them. But this is what happens. Feel the feelings, love the little kid who they were, but love who they are now. They are now. And maybe there's somebody out in the world that doesn't have those things. Maybe those things that you are trying to get rid of, their baby items, maybe somebody out there had a baby and doesn't have the abundance you have. They could use those onesies. They could use those toys. They could use all those things. That somebody else could make great memories with those things as well. Okay? KK is saying, can't get myself going, so depressed. I will say this, and I'm stone cold serious. If you are depressed, if you are truly depressed, if you are a hoarder, if you're depressed, it would behoove you to seriously investigate getting some mental health help for whatever you're struggling with. So if depression is stopping you from doing the things, if it is affecting the quality of your life, if the quantity of items in your home has become a danger, if it's negatively affecting the quality of your life, please listen to me, and I am your stepping stone. I will say it's not me who can probably help you the best way, but there are trained mental health professionals that deal with people who struggle with clutter. Hoarding is a DSM-5 something you're being diagnosed by. Therefore, there are resources available to mental health professionals. And the cool thing is, now I probably at some point, I don't know exactly who's in your area, but there are people out there. And if there are people out there that coach like I do on Zoom, they may not even have to be in your geographic area to help with that. Okay. So if your mental health is getting in the way of living the life you want, get help with your mental health. It will make the decluttering easier. Okay. All right. Boop. All right. What else do we have here? Actually, I just saw somebody saying something about what do you call it? Okay, I'm backing up. I love it too. You know what I love too when I'm backing up on seeing these questions is so many of you reaching out to help your fellow person. The person who's is struggling with something. Thank you for being such awesome people. I love this. On the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, this happens. If you're interested in joining that, it's all free. Really cool group of people. I just offer this because this is the way you get the info for what I do before everybody else. So like, for example, if you are on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, you knew to expect me doing a pop-up this morning. I didn't tell everybody on TikTok. I only told the people who are on my mailing list. This week, they also know, and I'll tell you too, this week I'm going kind of off the digital grid for the most part because of traveling for the holidays. I may do a pop-up, but again, I may not. That's what pop-ups are all about. However, you know who's going to know about if I do a pop-up or when I put some coaching consultation slots on my calendar if you want to have me as your one-on-one coach and get that on your books before the end of the year? People on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. I will be sending out just everybody on the list, just so you know. We do a monthly free Zoom group call. I will be setting out the invitation sometime this week with the Zoom invitation for that, for the date and time for that. So all sorts of good free stuff on the email mailing list. If you're interested in any of that, you can unsubscribe at any time. I don't send a lot of emails because why would I clutter up your email box? That would be wicked stupid. Okay, for me to be a decluttering person and then pummel you with emails. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. That's DestinationDecluttered.com/join. Call now. Okay, but I offer that because just some really good stuff, and I love seeing people helping through the comments. Okay, I love it. Junk and Gypsy is saying it feels so good to get rid of things. I'm almost done. Love it. Display an item, take a picture and donate. Do what feels right to you. There's no right or wrong way to do this. The only right way is the way that feels right to you at the time. And if you do it at the time and you save a lot of her stuff and then at a certain point you change your mind and you feel like you want to let go of some of that stuff, check in with this part of your body all the time. This is what leads you to the great stuff. This is what leads you to love. Am I right? I know I'm right. Because I see these little hearts. Okay? All right, what do we have? Okay, yeah, here we are. D says, I set a repeated 30-minute timer off, and if I get stuck, when it goes off, I switch modes. I love that. Yes, a timer is one of these great things to use. I use mine on my phone all the time, setting an alarm, setting a timer when a certain amount of time passed. It just reminds me to not get too off track, or it gives me a reason to start, especially when I don't want to. It's like getting on the treadmill. You set the timer, and you're like, all right, I only have to be on this treadmill can you tell I don't like being on the treadmill? All right, I'll only go on for 30 minutes. I get on there. I make it the best I can. I listen to a podcast. I have something nice to look at. I set the timer for 30 minutes, and I promise myself I will stay on for 30 minutes, but as soon as 30 minutes hits, I can get off. I keep that promise, and what helps me keep that promise is the timer. So put that in your toolkit. If you think it's going to work, experiment with it. Set a timer for 20 minutes, even right now. How about this? Use this Destination Decluttered TikTok Live as a timer. It is 11:03 a.m. on the Eastern Seaboard where I am, and I will be on for another 27 minutes. How about this? How about you just get up and use me as a timer? I will talk until 11:30, and then you say, I'm going to declutter for the entirety that she is on TikTok, and then when she's done, I can either continue on because I feel like I'm in the groove and this isn't so bad and it's kind of fun, or I can stop and I can more easily switch gears. I love that notion of switching gears and shifting gears even because like in a car, when you shift gears effortlessly, it just makes the drive so much more smoothly. And timers will help that. And especially with people with ADHD who have a hard time getting focused, but then sometimes when you get focused, you get on the rabbit hole. This helps you practice getting deep and then coming out, and then changing gears and then getting deep and coming out and knowing it's okay, that you will be able to focus. It helps you focus. Okay? There we go. I love it. He's the move it out and I'm the pointer. Yeah, because you know why? Because you have a plan. When you have a plan in your head of what you want it to look and feel and function like, you can tell people to do some of the other stuff. Okay? Alrighty. What else do we have here? All right, any advice for someone wanting to help ADHD cluttering? I have ADD and so lived experience. Yeah, whatever works for you. Pay attention to what works for you and pay attention to what does not work for you. Notice what the opposite of this is. If you're like, oh, I hate it when, it doesn't work when, ... and then start to think about the flip side. What's the opposite of that? Okay? Adult Distracted Hamburger Donut says, the family leaves it up to me to declutter everything. How do I convince them to help? Okay, first of all, even just from a business point of view, convincing is a weird energy. You're trying to you're trying to convince somebody to do something they don't want to do. That can be really hard. First of all, though, what I want to back up to is the family leaves it up to me to declutter everything. Why? Why do they get to do that? Why don't you push back? Why don't you say, hey, guess what? I used to do that. I'm not doing it anymore. We're gonna have to have a family meeting here because the way this is working is not working. So we're gonna stop it. We're gonna interrupt this pattern, and we're gonna do something else because this doesn't work. It may have worked for a while. It's not doing anything anymore. Okay. Notice the patterns. You make it too. Notice the patterns, and if they work for you, great. Keep them going. If they don't, notice the habits and patterns. Keep the ones that work. Interrupt and redirect the ones that don't. Okay, what else do we have? What if your clutter is stuff you use? Office supplies, craft supplies, toiletries. That's great. Hillary Stone is asking that, and I want to mention this too. Clutter is also a way of things being displayed, kind of cluttered all around. If you have decluttered, which means that you've basically sorted through and pulled out just what you need, and you can release the things that are not doing it. Once you have that kind of right amount of stuff for you, whether it's your office supplies or your craft supplies or toiletries, then you can find a less cluttery way to store them so it looks better, it functions better, and it feels better to you. If you like having little dribs and drabs all over the place, go to it. But if you don't like that, collect them all up and, put them in a box, put them in a drawer where you know they're going to be. So then when you go to look for them, you know how to find them. There's different ways to display that stuff. But I always want to say, before you even start to organize, start to weed out the stuff that you don't want. So you just have a better idea of what organizational space you're going to need to keep the stuff that now you have like the right amount for. Okay? All right. I love it. Janet says, sold unwanted stuff on Facebook Marketplace and used money to buy Christmas lights. I love it. There we go. Good stuff here. Alrighty. Melzy is saying, I would love to declutter coach ADHD people. I have it, and I love how my life changed. Melzy, you get on TikTok. Start helping your people. Start helping people in real life where you are. Get practice doing it. That's what I've done. You can do it, and I love that you're going to help the ADHD people. Hillary's asking, how do you decide how much you need or should keep? Office supplies, toiletries, and craft materials. The ones you use, keep them. The ones you don't use, get curious about, why am I not using this? Is it a quantity of things that I will eventually use? Like I just bought a new box. I'm looking down. I'm at my desk here, I just bought a box of envelopes because I was down to like 10. So do you have too many quantities of the same item? When do you think you're going to get through those? Or are you saving things that you don't use now and you probably won't use in the future, but you feel bad because you spent money on them? Notice the story your items are telling you. They are going to tell you whether it makes sense to you to keep them or not. And when you've made a purchase, everybody, happens to all of us, when you make a purchase, you are hoping that that purchase is going to result in getting the value you wanted it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When the purchase doesn't work and it doesn't work out for you, it may be difficult, but you will never get the money back that you invested in it. Release that idea. Get over that idea and say, you know what? Unless I can return this and get my money back after I've used it, I'm not going to be able to get my money back. Maybe I can sell it. But kind of break that unhealthy or that unhelpful connection between I'm hanging on to it because I spent a lot of money on it. You have bought things in the past that haven't worked out. Today, you may buy something that doesn't work out. And for the rest of your life, you're going to buy items that sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. And when you hang on to the things that don't work for you, all you're doing is cluttering your life up with things that remind you of a decision that just didn't work out. I think of past relationships, and I think of lipsticks. You think the lipstick is going to work. You're in the store. They have crappy lighting there, so you make your best guess. You come home, you put it on, and immediately oh man, that's too brown. Oh, that's too burgundy. Oh my God, that's totally orange. The lipstick itself, the longer you keep it, it's not going to suddenly turn into the perfect color. Realize you're oh well, I tried. Now you know to get something that it looks less of that color. And then if you're able to return it. And if not, you say, I'm sorry, and then you put it in the trash. Okay? There we go. Maybe your hubs can do music lives for the cause. He can start a declutter revolution. Oh, trust me. I'm kind of like, I feel like, remember how Lucy and Ricky, she was always trying to like, get into the club, and he was, she wanted to be on the stage. My husband is awesome. He actually did write a song. We did co-write a song together called Just Drive. This is on the TikTok. Actually, I think it's on the Destination Decluttered email mailing, or the YouTube channel. When this TikTok live is uploaded and you want to go see it, you can maybe look around for it. And it's all about just drive your life. Like, you know what? Just get behind the wheel, figure out someplace you're excited to go to, like the beach, and just head out there. It's fun. We wrote the song, he sang it and recorded it. A friend of ours made the video. A friend of ours starred in the video. And a person we never knew lent us her card to be put into it. It's pretty fun. So that's on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. So yes, and my husband wrote the song. All right, here we go. I'm bopping up here, and then I'm going to go backwards here because it's 11:11. It's 11:11, everybody. There we go. All right. Yeah, you know what, Amanda? Yeah, I have a habit of hanging on to it. It's not a waste. Just don't see so dumb. This is a learning. You just have to catch yourself when you notice the thoughts in your head and say, does that make sense? Does that make sense? Don't call yourself dumb. Notice the habits when you talk to yourself unkindly, and I will, as your friend, I will interrupt that shit night and day. You probably don't even realize you do that. Don't judge yourself. You're a person on the planet learning shit that you've never learned before. So we do the best we can wherever we are with the skills that we have. Okay? When you know better, you then are able to do better, but you're never dumb. You're never stupid. So stop talking like that. You wouldn't want somebody else to say it to you, so don't say it to yourself. Okay? Just for me and mine says, I feel like you're talking about the treadmill sitting in the corner of my room taking up space. Yeah. Have a conversation with yourself about that treadmill. Why are you on it? Why are you not on it? Is it dusty? Could you even just just for me and mine, how about this? Wouldn't this be great? Just seriously, while I'm on this TikTok live, just walk over to it, turn it on, get the clothes off of it, and just be on it for the next 10 minutes. And sometimes breaking the seal, just getting started, sometimes touching an item can be all that it needs. Sometimes instead of sitting down, you stand up. You put your hand on an item. You do the next babyest step. The teeniest, weeniest of steps. And then that can sometimes just unfreeze you from getting started. Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you the lipstick analogy works for me too, because literally, I have, this is my little lipstick thing. And yeah, I had some, and actually it was funny. So I have this one that I like the color, but it gets off on, it's too, it feels good, but it gets onto my tea mug. And then I bought this one, and then I bought this one, and they're both kind of similar, and there was another one that was too cranberry and brown, so I returned it, and these two are close enough, and I was like, you know what, I could use these in different situations, but the ones that really don't work. Now, sometimes we don't know this until we buy the thing, or we try it out, or it hangs around for a while, or we initially start using something, like, oh, this is so fun, look at this hot pot, or whatever, Instapot, we're using it all the time, and then the novelty wears off, and you realize you don't use it as often as you want. So things that are hanging around, maybe you did your George Foreman grill. Now, we still have ours because we have space for it. We got it as a wedding gift. I don't know, we use it once a year, but my husband still likes it, and it doesn't really get in the way, so I'm cool with it. If we had a bunch of those things, I might be challenging us, and I do this often, when the weather's gotten cold. I'm like, all right, we got to use this Instapot because it's taking up a lot of room, and let's use it or lose it, okay? So, yeah, exactly. When you don't, Catherine is saying, when we look at items, we think we can't get rid of the useful stuff, but think about it. If you're not using it, it's not really useful. It still works with the way it is, but you're not using it is kind of preventing somebody else from using it. Okay, there we go. Yeah, unfreeze the treadmill. See how it goes. Yes, if you touch an item, you can break that seal. You can reconnect with it, Okay, Kelly says, I leave stuff out thinking I'm not done with it yet. 3 days later, it's still sitting there. I will admit, I totally have a project on my kitchen table that I need to do, and I'm going to pull something out of my toolkit, which is an external deadline, a commitment to somebody. I'm going to work on that little project today. It's not much, but I'm afraid I'm going to, one of the things I have that's stopping me is the fear of making this thing worse because I have to glue something. Notice that the thing that keeps you stuck is usually fear. I just want to throw that out there because I know for me it is, and I know pretty much fear is going to be, when you peel back all the layers, at the end of it is fear. The The cool thing is, though, on the other side, when you are able to recognize that and you can flip that to love, what would I love to do? What would I love my home to look and feel like? You can do that. But there we go. Just for me and mine says I have 3 Instapots, but I use them all weekly. Rock on. See, this is great. Each one of us is so completely different from another. So what you use isn't what I use. What I use isn't what you use. That's cool. This is when you have an internal conversation with yourself about what is important to you right now, not what used to be important to you. If it used to be important to you back in the past and it's still there, have a conversation with today you. Is this still important to me? The answer can be yes, that's cool. Where do you put it? The answer can be no, that's also cool. Where can you release it? Home, it's kind of like catch and release. You either home it or you release it. Okay. Amber says, my ADD wants it visible. The cleaner in me wants those perfectly empty surfaces. Amber, I want to offer this to you. Yes, thank you, Erin. Deadline, due date. Thank you for catching me on that one. Yeah, notice the habits we have of speaking. Deadline, due date is so much less. I don't know why it says dead. That's why. Then that's just my own thing. I'm making up. Amber is saying, my ADD wants it visible because you fear that you're going to forget where the thing was. And the cleaner wants those perfectly empty surfaces. You can have both. Now, I will say you can have it visible, but the thing for ADD people is putting away your items out of sight and in mind. Not out of sight, out of mind. That's just is like that can be true sometimes, but when that usually happens, notice that happens usually if you put something where you would not go to look for it. You put something away in haste, you just kind of throw it somewhere. You're not putting it back in its home that you just designated for it, the home that makes sense to you. When you have a place for your items that makes sense to your brain that says, well, where would I go if I was going to find my nail polish? Where would I go to find the spray cleaner for the cabinets? Where would I go to find my socks? Where would I go to find my spices? Look for evidence, Amber, of where you have things stored, but you know where they are. That shows you can do that with other items too. What you just need to do in order to do that is make an intentional space for them and practice putting them there, taking it out, using it, and putting it back. Okay? I know how I want my home to look like, but I live with a collector, says Julissa. So the funny thing is, this is what the home of a collector looks like. All right? I got a bunch of stuff collected, right? But what I want to offer is the right quantity of items, collectors, keeping the best stuff, displaying it nicely, only keeping what you love, keeping the right amount, the things that look good together, that feel right to you. When maybe there's a difference in balance of, your collector has their one section. Like my husband in the other room, he's probably in his studio right now. His music studio is so much more cluttery than I would want to be, but luckily I can just shut the door. Okay? There we go. I have ADD and I know where stuff is, even if it's in a messy container or closet. I somehow remember things like that. Yep, like items together. I'm hearing put it in a permanent space, like not a terrible. Yeah, a permanent space. Just give it a good home. So you know what? So when you say, hey, where do I go to find the salt? Oh, the salt, it lives there. It goes into its little house. I use it, and then I put it back in its little. Then I go back to my house. So you can do that. You can have fun with it. The thing that I want to point out too that I think might be very helpful, that notion of insight in mind, like if I put it out, I'm going to remember something. Notice that doesn't work. Like if you put something out to remind you, you ran out of milk and you put the milk container on the counter to remind yourself to go buy some more milk. Notice when you are putting items in your sight to remind you to take an action, that is different than regular storage of everyday items. And when you have too many things out on surfaces, it can be even more difficult to use that kind of, seeing that, empty milk jug is going to remind me that I need to buy milk. Now, I do this sometimes. I say, I'm going to put this here to remind myself to take it out to the car when I go. But if it sits there too long and you become blind to it, it doesn't work. That's why this little project I have on my desk, on my kitchen table, has been hanging around for too long because it's become part of the furniture. So just notice the difference between that. Okay. Oh, see, here, Crystal, I was keeping up with putting stuff away, and now I stopped, and I'm gonna have to clean all day. No, you're not. Just start, okay? Chunk it down. Don't overwhelm yourself with the thoughts of, I have to clean all day. No, set yourself a timer. Take an hour today. You will be so surprised at how much it's going to look and feel better within 20, as soon as you get started. It's going to look and feel better with the very first thing that you pick up and make a decision of where does it go and you put it there, or it goes in the trash or whatever. It's going to be different and it's going to be better. So don't, everybody, my goodness, don't overwhelm yourself when you don't need to overwhelm. Don't let the drama queens in the back seat be like, we'll never get there. We're going to have to do it forever. This is awful. I hate it. Shh. No, you're going to get there. It's not going to be over. Like the overwhelm, to me, I can feel a difference in my energy when I even say that stuff in pretend. That burns up energy that you could use for other things. Save your energy for the good stuff. Save your energy for the good stuff. Minimize the amount of drama you bring into any of this, and you will have energy to go out and do other things. Okay? RJK is back. Any tips on stacks of paperwork and stacks of bills? Yes, pay your bills. Get curious about why you're saving the papers. If it doesn't make sense, like if what you're doing is just kind of an old habit, change the habit. Pay your bills, though. Pay your bills. And then say to yourself, okay, once I pay this, why am I keeping this this statement that I've written, due date, blah, blah, blah. Now, I will admit, I'm a Gen Xer. So I grew up in the pre-digital era, but now we're in the digital era. And so I have kind of, I go both ways in that respect, okay? I have one foot in the pre-digital era and I have one in digital. So some of like I get the paper statements from my credit cards, because I have a habit of it, and I like to see them come in, and I kind of like knowing that, you know, the paper statement is a visual reminder for me to pay the bill. But then I go onto my computer and I pay it, then I write on it that I paid it, and then I file it, and it takes like 2 seconds. Now, I might not necessarily recommend that system to people nowadays, but it's one that I've had for 30, 40 years. It works for me. So it takes very little time, very little energy. And then, you know, like all of my I get it right here because I have to file something, but literally a year's worth of my paperwork fits in this thing right here. And then at the end of the year, I pull it out, I put it into a bag, and when there's a shredding event, I go give it to a shredding event. Okay? I love this. Heather says, I've learned very quickly that 30 minutes in the kitchen or wherever you're cleaning is a world of difference. Yes, I'm saying this because, too, I agree with you with that, because my husband and I've been thinking about, because I don't particularly like to clean. Funny thing is, though, I like to see the before and afters, right? But just getting started, and part of me is lazy, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe we could just hire somebody to come and do it. But then we've gotten some quotes, and I'm like, to me, that's travel money. And so I even said to my husband, you know what we could do? We could use what I apply here is if you and I literally just kind of said for 1 hour, one freaking entire hour, we just chunked down the house and only were in this living room. Couldn't leave. You know, you've got like the force field comes down. We play that game. You know, it's like force field comes down. You can't leave. And all we did was clean. This place would be spotless. And it probably wouldn't even take an hour. And then we could leave. And then we would have pretty much saved ourselves hundreds of dollars. So yeah, 30 minutes in a kitchen or wherever is a huge world of difference. There we go. Okay? Yep, see, I love it. Everybody's offering suggestions. Do what feels right to you. But I will say this. Use my TikTok lives. Use meeting me, Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach, coming into your life, showing up as an opportunity to just get curious, to think of, to become aware of what you do. It's as simple as this. What do I do? Is this getting me closer to the life I want? Is this giving me the life I want? Or is it keeping me stuck in a life I don't want? It can be as simple as that. And then you get curious about your habits, interrupt the ones that don't work, redirect them in a way that you are saying, when I do it differently, it's going to make my life look and feel and function better. Okay? Notice that. Oh, Angela Marie says you may motivate and inspire. Love you. Thank you. And you know what I say? This is as far as I can do. When what I do really works is when you take it to heart. Notice that phrase. Take it to heart and don't just let it sit there, but then you take it to action. When you get up and do the thing, do, verb, that's what's happening. Do a thing today. Everybody. All of the thoughts are great. Everything, you know what? When you keep it inside here, this is where it starts, but it doesn't change your life until you get it out of your body, out of your head, and in your feels, and out into the world where you show externally and you do the things that are going to get your home looking and feeling like the way you want it. Okay? Okay. Amy is saying, I have so many items of clothes. How to get rid of clothes I don't wear, but hard to let go of. Amy, I would say this. Listen to the story. What is the story of why it's so hard to let go of them? What are all the feelings that come up? What are the stories that you're being told? And ask yourself, are those stories keeping you from having the decluttered life you want? And if so, you can choose not to believe them. You can choose to reframe them or just kind of rewrite them in a way that you're saying, you know what, it's going to be great for me to let this go. I feel so much better now that I'm let them go. Okay? I know, Gila Rio, my parents died a long time ago and I still have their paperwork as if they are coming back. Yeah. Yeah, we have these. And sometimes the decisions we make back then made sense back then, but just revisit it today. How about this? You guys, Thanksgiving is on Thursday. I say this because I've got like 4 minutes left here and I may not see you till after the holidays. And what I would love to send you off with is the thought of the gratitude you have for the life you have right now. Celebrate the moments of your life. Celebrate the good stuff. But the stuff that isn't working, be grateful and thankful for the awareness now that you can do something to change that. And if that means getting coaching, that's cool. If that means having a conversation with your family over the kitchen table or the dining room table about, does anybody want grandma's china because I don't want it anymore? It could mean I'm going to stop doing the habits that have been going on maybe for decades of thinking and acting a certain way or doing certain things that people expect you to always be the person who cleans up after them. You can hold up your little traffic cop hand and interrupt that flow at any point. You have the power. You've got that little traffic cop hand to say, hey, wait a minute. That does not work for me anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to do something different. Now, I highly suggest that before you start to do that with other people, you get better at doing it inside. So catch yourself when you have habits that aren't getting you what you want, and slowly but surely and incrementally at the baby steps of it, start to do the things differently. Change it incrementally. That will also give you more sympathy for or empathy for the people who you are then going to try to change their habits and help them change their habits. How it's not as easy. It's totally doable, but at the beginning it's different. It's like learning how to drive a car. You grew up, you didn't know how to drive a car. Then you wanted to because you knew it was going to change your life. And so you got some help. You showed up, you practiced, and it was kind of uncomfortable. You practiced, it was uncomfortable. Every time you did it, it got a little bit easier. So just think of learning how to declutter as just learning how to drive your car. And now it's something you just do, and it's a way you live, and it opens up your life to be wonderful and have all sorts of wonderful experiences. And the only way you did that was showing up and getting better because you practiced. Okay? I love it. Amber says you're watching me and cleaning the house. Yeah, okay. No, seriously. Yes, and Amanda, thank you for saying that because I'm going to sign off momentarily. But I love that you said, grateful for the awareness, not judgment, insight, and potential. I love all of that because everybody, we all have such potential. And I know, trust me, you could look at my report cards from like 5th, 6th, 7th, all the grades. Beth would be great if she just worked to her potential. You know what? I was bored with that stuff. I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do it. But what I want you to think is, why am I not doing the things that I want to do with that I know is going to make my life look and feel better? Don't judge yourself. Just get curious with love. Ask yourself that. Answer yourself that. And then based on that insight and knowledge, do something different today to shift that, to steer just away from where you don't want to go and towards where you do want to go. Okay? Now, Jack's mom says, I need professional help. I'm dying from clutter. If you are dying from clutter, that is very dramatic language. I would highly recommend you get in touch with a mental health professional who can help you if you struggle with clutter to that extent. I know when I do the most good, and sometimes the good I do with people who are struggling with clutter is to say I may not be the person for you, but there is help out there. Okay? So please do that. All right. It is 11:30. I'm signing off. You may hear from me this week. You may not. I'm not even going to promise it to the people on my mailing list because I want the flexibility of just being able to be in the moment with my family, with my husband on the road trip, for adventures, things like that. You're welcome for the pop-up. I will say this, though. If you want to know the next time that I'm doing a TikTok Live, get on the Destination Decluttered mailing list. It is simple. It is free. It is fun. It is casual. It is good stuff. DestinationDecluttered.com/join. It's all you need to do. I'll take care of the rest. And it's kind of the next baby step to say, if everything I heard today is good stuff and I want more of this, please, for free and for paid coaching if you're interested in it, the email mailing list, members only list is the best way to do it. Okay? Thank you, Amy, for letting me know I make a difference and that I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys too. I'd be really lonely if I showed up and did this TikTok Live or any of my TikTok Lives and nobody was there. I'd be like, hello, is anybody out there? So it's always fun to have people to go back and forth with. Yes, everybody, stay safe, enjoy the holidays, be grateful for what you have, and be grateful for the insight of knowing what's not working for you that you can change it, okay? And on that note, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea, all right? I will see you on the other side of the holiday. Bye. 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 Come on, let's go. Bye. Come on, shut off. Okay, there we go.